The I Ching's Wealth Wisdom, From Ancient Insights to Modern Financial Freedom. Chapter 1, Qian Kun, the Foundation of Wealth, Vision and Grounding. Qian Heaven, Bold Beginnings and the Courage to Start. What Qian teaches us. Qian is the first hexagram of the I Ching. Made of 6 unbroken lines like a sky without limits, it represents action, ambition, and the energy of new beginnings. Qian isn't about being reckless, it's about being purposeful. It's the courage to take that first step toward your dream, even when you don't have all the answers. In the context of wealth, Qian is the spark that ignites entrepreneurship, career transitions, or any bold financial decision. Is the belief that you have the power to create something from nothing. Guided by your values and vision, Qian's energy is often described as the dragon rising. In Chinese mythology, the dragon is a symbol of strength, good fortune, and divine guidance, not a creature that acts on impulse, but one that moves with intention. Similarly, Qian invites us to act with courage, but not haste. It's about aligning our actions with our highest selves, so that every step we take toward wealth feels purposeful, not forced. Real story. Leela, 28, worked as a corporate chef for 5 years, making delicious food for people she didn't know, in a kitchen that felt like a prison. Her dream, to open a small bakery, specializing in gluten-free pastries, something her city desperately needed. But every time she thought about quitting her stable job, fear crept in. What if I fail? What if I can't pay my bills? What if everyone hates my pastries? One weekend, Leila visited her grandmother in Maine. Her grandma, a lifelong I Ching reader, who'd run a successful bed and breakfast for 30 years, noticed her granddaughter's restlessness. Cast a hexagram, she said, sliding her old wooden I Ching set across the kitchen table. Ask about your bakery. Leila rolled her eyes. She'd always thought the I Ching was grandma's fortune-telling stuff, but she indulged her. She followed the ritual, shaking the coins, recording the lines, and consulting the book. She got Qian. Qian is the dragon rising. Her grandma said, pouring them both a cup of chamomile tea. Dragons don't wait for perfect weather to fly. They don't wait until they have all the answers. They spread their wings and go, but they don't fly blindly. They stay connected to the sky, to their purpose. Your dream isn't just about opening a bakery, Leela. It's about sharing something you love with people who need it. That's your sky. Stick to that, and the rest will follow. That conversation changed everything. Leela didn't quit her job the next day. Qian isn't about recklessness. Instead, she used Qian's energy to take small, bold steps. She researched gluten-free baking techniques in her free time, tested recipes on friends and family, and started selling her pastries at a local farmer's market on weekends. She saved every extra dollar, even if it meant skipping brunch with friends or buying generic groceries. She also reached out to 3 local bakery owners, asking if she could shadow them for a day. She said no, but One Marta, who'd run her bakery for 15 years, agreed. Most people come to me asking for secrets to success, Marta told Leela over a batch of croissants. But the real secret is courage to start small and stay true to what you believe in. You don't need a perfect business plan or a huge loan. You just need to start and keep going even when it's hard. 6 months later, Leela had saved $10,000, enough to rent a tiny storefront in a up-and-coming neighborhood. She borrowed kitchen equipment from her grandma, hired a part-time high school student to help on weekends, and opened Leela's gluten-free haven. The first month was slow. Some days she sold only a handful of pastries, but she stayed true to her vision, using high-quality, local ingredients, and creating a warm, welcoming space where people with dietary restrictions could feel seen. Today, Leela's bakery has a line out the door every Saturday. She's expanded her menu to include vegan options, hired 3 full-time employees, and even offers baking classes. Qian didn't give me success, Leela says, wiping flour off her hands as she greets a regular customer. It gave me the courage to stop waiting for someday. It reminded me that wealth isn't just about money, it's about doing what you love and making a difference. That's the kind of wealth that lasts. How to use Qian in your life. Define your sky. What's your core vision for wealth? Is it starting a business that aligns with your values, paying off debt so you can travel, retiring early to spend time with family? Write it down in one sentence if this is your sky, and every action you take should connect back to it. Take dragon steps. Identify one small, bold step you can take this week to move toward your vision. It doesn't have to be big: researching a side hustle, signing up for a course, or having a conversation with a mentor. The key is to act with intention, not fear. Embrace imperfection. Qian doesn't require you to have all the answers. In fact, the hexagram's energy thrives on curiosity and adaptability. If your first step doesn't work out, don't quit, adjust, and take another step. The dragon doesn't stop flying because of a little one. Align with your values. Ask yourself, does this action feel true to who I am? If you're starting a business just to make money, You burn out if you're switching careers because you want to serve others. The energy will flow more easily. Jin's power comes from alignment. Kun, earth, grounding your vision and building stability. What Kun teaches us? If Jin is the sky, Kun is the earth's 6 broken minds that represent receptivity, patience, and grounding. Kun reminds us that even the boldest dreams need a solid foundation. You can't build a house on sand, and you can't build wealth on vague ideas. Kun is about execution, support, and letting yourself receive help. It's the yin to Jin's yin, while Jin is about action and vision. Kun is about patience and practicality. In nature, the earth doesn't rush. It nurtures seeds slowly, providing water, nutrients, and stability until they're ready to grow. Similarly, Kun teaches us that wealth takes time to build. It's about creating systems and habits that support your vision, budgets, savings plans, support networks, and trusting that consistent small actions will lead to big results. Kun also invites us to be receptive, to ask for help, to accept opportunities, and to trust that the universe will provide what we need when we need it. Real story. Rod, 32, was drowning in credit card debt. He graduated college with a degree in marketing, taken a high-paying job at a tech company, and spent every paycheck on nice dinners, new clothes, and trips trying to keep up with his friends, who drove luxury cars and lived in fancy apartments. By 2021, he owed $35,000 across 3 credit cards. With interest rates as high as 24%, the stress was making him sick. He had trouble sleeping, suffered from migraines, and avoided checking his bank account at all costs. I felt like a failure. He says, I had the job everyone wanted, the one my parents had sacrificed so much for, but I was broke, worse than broke. I was in debt, and I had no idea how to get out. Raj's sister, Priya, a financial advisor who'd studied the I Ching in college, noticed his struggle. You're living in Jin energy without Kun. She told him over dinner one night, you are taking action, spending money, chasing status, but you have no foundation. Kun is about grounding. You have big dreams like being debt-free, buying a house, but you need to build a solid plan to get there, and you don't have to do it alone. Raj was skeptical. He tried budgeting before, but always quit after a week. But Priya didn't just give him a budget template. She walked him through Kun's principles. First, you need to be honest with yourself. She said, write down every debt, every expense, every belief you have about money. Then, you need to be receptive for help. Let others support you. Finally, you need to be patient. Paying off $35,000 won't happen in a month, but it will happen if you're consistent. Raj took Kun's advice to heart. He started by listing all his debts: $12,000 on his Visa, $15,000 on his MasterCard, and $8,000 on his store credit card. He then tracked every expense for a month down to the $5 coffee he bought every morning. He was shocked to find that he was spending over $400 a month on takeout and $200 on impulse buys, new video games, clothes he never wore. He created a budget, but he didn't deprive himself. Kun isn't about suffering. He kept his weekly coffee run. Small joys matter for motivation, but cut back on takeout to once a week and canceled his gym membership. He started running in the park instead. He also called his credit card companies and negotiated lower interest, rather something he'd been too scared to do before. I thought they'd say no, he says, but they were happy to work with me. I just had to ask. Raj also joined a debt support group online, where he met others going through the same thing. Every week, they shared their progress, celebrated small wins like paying off a credit card, and encouraged each other when things got tough. Kun taught me that wealth isn't a solo journey. Raj says, I couldn't have done it alone. My sister helped me with the budget. The support group kept me accountable, and my friends even started having potlucks instead of going out to dinner. That's the power of receptivity, letting others help you. It took 2 years, but Raj paid off all his debt. He used the snowball method, paying off the smallest debt first, the $8,000 store card, to build momentum, then putting that money toward the next debt. Today, he's saving for a down payment on a condo, and he feels lighter than it has in years. I used to think wealth was about how much you make, Raj says, but Kun taught me that it's about how stable you feel emotionally and financially. Stability comes from planning, patience, and letting people help you. That's the foundation of true wealth. How to use Kun in your life. Build your foundation. If you're feeling overwhelmed by money, debt, savings goals, budgeting, ask yourself, what's one small, practical step I can take to build stability? It could be tracking your expenses for a week, calling a creditor to negotiate a lower rate, or creating a savings plan for an emergency fund. Be receptive. Let yourself receive help. Kun is about receptivity, whether that's asking a friend for advice, hiring a financial planner, or accepting a raise you deserve. You don't have to do this alone. Reach out to people who can support you and be open to their guidance. Practice patience. Wealth takes time to build. If you're paying off debt, saving for a home, or growing a business, remind yourself that progress, not perfection, is the goal. Celebrate small wins, paying off a credit card, hitting a savings milestone, and trust that consistent action will lead to big results. Honor your limits. Kun is the earth. It has boundaries. Learn to say no to expenses that don't align with your goals, and no to people who pressure you to spend money you don't have. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, and it's essential for building stable wealth. Key takeaway from Qian Kun: wealth is a dance of vision and action. Qian and Kun work together. Like day and night, Qian gives you the courage to dream. Kun gives you the tools to make that dream real. You can't have one without the other. If you only have Qian, bold dreams but no plan, you'll burn out chasing opportunities that don't align with your values, or quitting when things get hard. If you only have Kun, plans but no vision, you feel stuck in a rut, going through the motions of budgeting and saving, but never feeling fulfilled, because you don't know why you're doing it. The next time you think about your money goals, ask yourself, am I balancing Qian vision and Kun action? Maybe you have a dream to start a business, Qian, but haven't created a business plan or saved for startup costs, Kun. Or maybe you're stuck in a budget, Kun, but have forgotten why you're saving. You're just going through the motions without a clear vision of what you're working toward, Qian. When you balance both, wealth starts to flow naturally. You're not just chasing money, you're building a life that feels purposeful and stable.
本音频由魔音工坊 AI 生成。